I think so. I'll just go get this motherfucker up in here.
Oh, that motherfucker.
He'll break something for sure, but we'll see how we go.
Yeah, because they're like, he's definitely not coordinated enough to like climb over the wire.
Yeah. This is what happens, I suppose. I'll take a photo.
Before the accident.
Yeah. Before. Alright. Sick. Alright. Oh, shit talking. Let's go.
Yeah. Alright. Well...
What's your first... Yesterday's yells. We've come up with a name for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
More importantly, ChatGPT came up with a name for it.
Don't give them credit. Yeah. I reckon that's the best one, because, like, obviously... We're talking about shit that happened in the past.
Yeah.
And it's screaming music. So
yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Makes sense to me.
Yeah. So this week, you've got... Last week I had Watch Out. And this week? I'm
feeling like I want to change it up a bit, just because I just want to talk about it, because it's so fucked. Like, there's things that I was just reading before that I just didn't even realize had happened. But it's like from first to last. But
is this official Wikipedia?
yeah. I wanted to like specifically talk about.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Talk about Heroine.
Yeah.
But then like going into it, I was just like, fuck. Like, there's so much more I want to like. You have to be able to touch on it all. Yeah,
okay, fair enough. I mean, from first to last is very, like, there's some very interesting things that some people have no idea about.
Yeah, it's a very, like, up and down. Yeah. So what I will probably do first is... don't
need to put you guys away.
Is just say, like, obviously, they started in, like, 2003, 2004.
Yeah.
They were like a 4-piece. They released an EP with Matt Good as the singer.
Yeah.
And then they needed another guitarist, and that's when they hired Sonny Moore. Well, I don't know. When it comes to like
timelines of this.
Well, no. When it comes to like back then,
this isn't gonna work, is it? Jesus, dog, you have to stay there.
When it comes to like back then, I don't know if like because they wouldn't have been big enough to like hire.
Yeah.
You know, so like they recruited. I think they put word out that they wanted like another guitarist, and Sonny Moore obviously wanted to do it. Then Sonny Moore, they heard him sing and were like, "Holy crap, you're better than Matt Good." So how about we have you as our lead singer? And that's where they released "Dear Diary, My Teen Angst Has a Body Count."
Yeah.
And I like that. There is like a very solid like. I would say that's emo.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, definitely.
That's like they all had the like dirty fringe hair, and like had this like sad singy emos like My Teen Angst Has a Body Count. Like they were playing into it hard, but like there was some things that I was like, because I want to talk about Heroine more than the Dear Diary one, but
yeah. No, sorry, you carry on. I was going to say something because Heroine was definitely the first like album. I got into them a bit later as well, but Heroine was the album I got into, and it happens with me quite a lot where I'll get into something and then I'll be like, oh yeah, that's cool, and then I can just go through
the rest of stuff,
which works in with my other theory is like sometimes I'm just not ready to hear some stuff.
Yeah.
When I heard it in the beginning.
Well, I think I would have heard Note to Self and Secrets Don't Make Friends, however vain I would have heard it, downloaded it, heard it from somewhere kind of thing.
Yeah.
But as I was saying with Finch, when it went into Say Hello to Sunshine and it started getting weirder, that's what Heroine did for me.
Yeah, fair enough. That sent you in that path.
Yeah. So like I think when did Heroine was 2006 and I think Say Hello to Sunshine was 2005. So I had heard that Finch album and it was like, oh, there's weird shit out there.
Yeah.
And then Heroine came out, and going from there straight emo to, I don't even know if there's probably like screams in the background of Heroine, but I don't think there's actual like I don't think there's any screaming parts, which I find really interesting. But the reason I wanted to talk about Heroine so much is
because you injected.
Yeah. Well, I think it's Heroine as in like a female hero, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
Like with the mother sound and stuff. I just remember when I first saw the music video for The Latest Plague, because they had their first album and I liked them, and I heard they had a new song coming out, and I saw it's like them in a car or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
But like, yeah, see them in a car, and like with Sonny Moore, how like he made himself so like pale and ugly. Like he's like obviously when you look at him now, like he's matured.
Way different, yeah.
Matured quite a bit. But I think he was just like playing into the I'm an ugly kid kind of view.
Yeah.
Which I think helped, and that's why I was like wanting to talk about Heroine, because like if you go into their lyrics, like The Latest Plague, so this is like their first song that they released. What would you say if this blemished face with a crooked nose, had a chance to say whatever he wanted from his blemished world of the unknown? Like,
yeah, so is it like his lyrics are playing into what he looks like? And
yeah, and like it goes hard into that's kind of what emo, like, because emo today is you go to like a store and there's goth kind of looking clothes.
Yeah.
Whereas emo back then was like, you're the ugly kid and have no friends, and so this music like lets you scream without going in and being America.
Yeah.
And
freedom.
Yeah, I just think that's like something that, because I would have been 16, 17, dealing with my own shit back then, as you do with your teenage angst, like last album. And I think they came along at the perfect time to be weird, which I liked the weird, to be dark, but like showing that it's okay to express yourself. But yeah, I just thought there was a really good follow-up. What do they call it? A sophomore?
Yeah.
Sophomore album. From first to last.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because that's just like straight away like leads into that. Like everybody would have been like their first album, probably get judged by the way that they look and stuff like that, and then just straight into just like, well, this is what happens. Like, because Sonny Moore must have, I think he's a year younger than us even. Sonny, let's have a look. What do you reckon? Oh, yeah, no.
Oh, he's a year older than us. Not even that. Yeah, he's a year older than us.
Yeah.
So
22 now.
So yeah. So he would have been 15, 16 when he was saying those things.
Yeah.
And I was feeling those things. So it was very, and I think that's something that probably gets lost a lot this day and age with new bands and stuff that come out.
Yeah.
Is you're getting like 20 plus, like 23-year-olds and stuff that are releasing albums.
Yeah.
And they're talking about their heartbreak, whereas like we had people our exact same teenage, high school age, and that was, because we were able to just download the songs online. Like now it's like they've gone through all that before you actually find out who they are.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I don't know how best to describe it. But yeah, Heroine was definitely like I knew all the lyrics to it and would be able to recite everything. I knew everything about that album. It was a top tier album for me.
That's good. That's definitely a good intro into what it is, for sure.
Yeah.
So, in ways of like, do you have any like sort of core memories, anything that like, this is just going to be my question, because for me like music is like, as soon as I hear a song it takes me back to like, it gives me visions of where I was at certain times and stuff like that. So like I hear a song and I go, oh yeah, I remember driving in my car or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you know, like,
I remember where I was living. I was definitely I think after this is kind of when I started like not going to school.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was around that time. So maybe it wasn't good that I listened to it. But I also remember when I'd show people, because like I showed everybody from first to last, and I love from first to last, and everyone that I showed was like, yeah, this is epic. This is like, because it was from like their first album was exactly what you'd want to hear as a like a screamo emo kind of.
Yeah, and that's what we were exactly into at that time.
Yeah. And then I hear this, and I just devoured it. I like would have replayed it like 5 times over, listened to it going to sleep, like.
Yeah, for sure.
And I remember playing it to people, and I remember no one really liking it. I remember being like alone in the fact that I was the only one, and I think that's something that is different again. Today's day and age is like, I genuinely felt like no one else liked this, but then that's why I was saying I kind of want to talk about like just from first to last in general.
Yeah.
Is because like upon release, Heroine received generally positive reviews and charted at 25 on the Billboard Top 200, selling 33,000 copies in its first week and 91,000 in its first 4 months.
Yeah.
It's their band's highest selling album.
Yeah, I mean, and when you listen to it, it's definitely like it's a step up from their first album in regards to production and stuff like that, for sure.
And even like concepts and stuff, because like you can like from their first album, they had things like Ride the Wings of Presidents or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And he talks about like wearing a skin as a suit and stuff like that. So it's like purposefully dark and broad.
Yeah.
Whereas when it comes to the songs on Heroine, like on Waltz More, I can't eat anything without shoving my hands down my throat. I refuse to meet the world without smearing on makeup with my hair blinding my eyes.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot more personal, whereas like their first album was like, oh, we're edgy teens, and this is like actually sounds like Sonny Moore actually like having to deal with his shit and expressing it creatively, and I think that's maybe what draws me, maybe even to just music in general, like because that's a branch out for me. It's like if I can tell that they're actually just trying to make something, I generally like it. I'm oh, this is actually good. Like I might not actually like it, but I can be like, oh, that I can tell that there is a good. Yeah.
Cool. These dogs are getting annoying.
Is there a Whittaker underneath as well?
Yeah, she's down there.
She's just waiting for her scratch.
She needs the pats. Oh, that's cool. Anyway, what's next on the agenda for that? I think I might just. What were my other questions last time? Where's my notes? There we go. Oh, you pretty much covered a lot of it too. So did you have like a favorite song or even least favorite? Either. Because Mother Sound, like that's like again that's another really good intro track too. I feel like to the actual album.
Yeah, it
definitely sets the pace for like what they're gonna sound like for that whole. For the rest of it.
Well, yeah, and like I do have a favorite song, but it's also like I could imagine it's almost Sonny Moore would not want this to be a song that because it's the And We All Have a Hell.
Yeah.
And it's very much about essay and stuff, but like it's just the way that he did it back then, because it like follows the drums, and he's being very like he's just talking about how innocence is lost, and that's where I think like music in general can be kind of fucked, as like people take things the wrong way. They'll take this and be like, he abused someone, like but like it seems like he's almost like he's saying like this person got abused and their innocence is gone, like they're gone from this world. When you like, if you looked at this song specifically, it looks like essay, like he's like, yeah, this is essay. But then if you like zoom out and actually go from what the whole concept of the whole thing is, And the fact that it's called Heroine, so like I don't know if he's like talking about like in Mother Sound, like I don't know if he's talking about like the females and how important they are. Like I could be going way too deep in that maybe.
Who knows?
But when you zoom out and look at the rest of the songs, you can kind of tell that he's kind of just being like, everyone's fucked up, like and I like that.
Like I said, it's just everybody puts everyone on a equal level.
Yeah, and I feel like the more albums that I'm going to delve into over time, you know, it's just going to be like, this guy's fucked.
That's all right. I mean, yeah, like I said, albums are... maybe that's something I've never done, is like delve deep into lyrics and stuff like that and sort of like get themes of albums, but it's definitely something that I feel might be lost a bit more in like today's albums, do you know?
Well, it seems like the bands that I terribly enjoy, like they seem to even just make lyrics to sound profound or sound good. Like it doesn't seem like they're actually like, that's why all this albums from like the early 2000s to the early 2010s kind of starts veering off there, but they all do start being like, oh, we're trying to pose, like we're trying to, whereas like these ones are like, he was going through shit, man. I don't know what he was going through, but whatever he went through, because I like after this, so this came out in 2006, and then he left in early 2007.
Yeah.
So they would have like toured this album for maybe 6 or 7 months, and then he was like, I'm out, and that's when he fucking went and did Skrillex. But yeah, that's just crazy in itself. And then the reason why I wanted to talk about like just from first to last in general is so like EP, hire Sonny Moore, realise he's a good singer, 2 albums, one straight emo core kind of shit, the second one like Sonny Moore's Deep Dark Secrets. He leaves, he fucks off after they get this like notoriety. I can't even say
that word.
And he's just fucks off.
Yeah.
And then they're all left and they bring in their solo EP. This was in 2008. It said it was recorded in August, September 2007. So they would have recorded, maybe had some of this music. Maybe he heard the music and was like, ugh. But yeah, and then this was just, I thought this was trash, and I don't know, I haven't had a look through. Yeah, it reached 81 on Billboard 200. So like, not as good, but still still, you know, decent. Probably people listening being like,
on the
what's going to happen?
of the last sort of writing it from the last album. Going.
So they released that in 2008, and then 2010. I see. This is what I didn't even know this existed. Thrown to the Wolves.
Yeah.
And that's thrown, not thrown.
Yeah. Like the band.
But it's also Travis, who was like the screamer. He had left the band.
Yeah.
And it was their only release was some guitarist guy. But they released this, and then they went on hiatus not even a year later.
Yeah.
So they released another album with another of their vocalists. So they've like their vocals...
all over the
because normally with bands it's the guitarists and stuff that, and like that all disappear.
Especially like it's weird for a front man or like vocalist, I suppose, just to go. It's usually like that's definitely a hard thing to sort of like recreate. Like, so I don't even know if I've heard this album. And like the thing that I find the craziest is Derek, the drummer. He is so bloody good, and he just has stuck with. He's just been like, nah, this is my band. But yeah, so, and this was they were on Rise Records for this. Yeah, okay. So this is the only album they released on Rise Records, and then they left Rise Records. Yeah.
But then in 2015, so 5 years later, they released another album, and this has the Periphery guy, Spencer Sotilo.
I'll fix it up.
Yeah, that's all right.
I'll voice it over.
But Travis came back for that.
Yeah.
And Derek was still in it. But like that right there, when they did that, I was like, yeah, that's from first to last has come back
to their like sort of.
And I think they did like from bonus tracks they did some remakes of like Sonny's songs with, because obviously he's a really good vocalist too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just was like, that's, yep, they've done it. It's all happened. And then they just bloody stopped again.
Disappeared.
And then what, in like 2020, they released one song with Sonny Moore.
Yeah.
And I think they did like a release being like, oh, we've got a few songs, we could probably make an album, and they only released that. It's been 4 years now.
Yeah.
And they still haven't released any other songs with Sonny. And then they just released that new
last
song
one, yeah.
where it's like with Matt Good as vocals again.
And it sounds like
Skrillex.
It sounds like Skrillex.
Yeah.
Skrillex has been involved with it.
They've like paid attention to Bring Me and what they're doing.
Yeah,
and
it's definitely, it gives me like Bring Me vibes,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So yeah,
And it's not a bad thing.
that's kind of what I like am thinking about, like from first to last. It's just such an interesting, especially seemings not too many people probably follow.
No. It's funny, like, and then, because I was telling people at work, like, oh, do you know who Sonny Moore is? And they're like, oh, yeah, Skrillex or whatever. And I'm like, well, do you know, he was like, far out, like, flipping real emo call back in the day.
Yeah.
And then I'll play their like old stuff. And then I come across this one recording of them at, what is it, the Warp Tour.
Oh, yeah.
And it is just like full crazy, just emo shit like from the back of the day.
Do you remember, like, because I have no doubt that you would have heard Dear Diary and stuff like that, but do you have any memories yourself of, like, Heroine? Because I don't know if I would have shown that to you, because obviously I was like...
You probably did.
Yeah.
Or just, I would have heard conversations pretty much between friends being like, yeah, that's who they are, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Heroine-wise, is definitely, like I said, that's the first album I heard from first to last, like, properly, and then gave it any sort of, like, listening time, and then, yeah, like I said, back catalogued it, and sort of just had a look at everything else, but, I don't know, I definitely remember it at some point, like, my cool memories with it would just be, like, listening to it in the back of the car going on, like, family holiday somewhere, like,
so fun.
I don't know,
yeah,
having the iPod in, and then just, like, yeah, just headphones in. Don't want to like interact with the parents in the front seat.
Yeah.
Like, just emoing out in the back.
It's crazy how like angsty we were. Like, because I always thought like, oh, we were like actually quite, like in my head I was like, oh, we were quite good kids. But I used to do that too. Like, yeah. But like I used to like just fucking be like, don't talk to me, be in my room and just have. I would always play music super loud. My mum must have been so forgiving for like. Just every night, just me fucking like playing Linkin Park and stuff, just like as loud as my stereo.
What is wrong with this child?
Yeah.
I mean, I was definitely like that, but I had my room like outside of the house, in the doghouse. No, in the oh hi dog. Yeah, and so I could just blast music as loud as I want there, but then it would always lead into like me just playing guitar and stuff like that anyway. So that was like my outlet for being. If I was feeling sort of angsty or something like that, or if I'd like just had some sort of issue, it'd be like, go out to my room, smash guitar.
Smash guitar.
Just put on the, turn up the volume.
Yeah. And I'll just have a look through here, because I was just having a... See, it's September 2023. Matt Good confirmed to return as the lead vocalist.
Yep.
Didn't release anything. Just said that. Just were like, hey, he's our vocalist now. Yeah. And then there is currently no confirmed information regarding Sonny Moore's position in the band since their period of inactivity. The band's last release with Moore was in 2018. I thought it was 2000. Apparently there's Genesis in 2024, but I haven't.
Yeah, that's a new song.
Oh yeah. What, are they expecting it to be a whole album?
No,
because that's in studio albums.
Mm.
So I guess that's what they want.
Ooh.
But what I will do, and
it's kind of cool too that they're still going, like seeing where they've come from and where they're at now. Like it's obviously those first two albums were some sort of evolution anyway of like their sound and things like that. But
yeah. I would definitely like to hear. Like I will still listen, and I think that's one of the things that they've got from me is
a lifetime subscription.
Yeah. I will always give them a go. I don't generally always like it, but you know.
I mean, bands I'm fond of, I'll definitely give a crack. But there's no, what's the word I'm thinking about? Doesn't matter.
But one of the things I wanted to show as well is just the differences between...
No.
You get down, you little fuck.
Down.
I just want to play, like... Oh, how should I do this?
I just play it and I can...
Yeah. I was just more like, what part do I play? Because this is going to be... This is 2 as 1. So this is the album after Sonny Moore left. So this was the 2008 one.
Yeah.
Like, not bad, like...
Yeah.
But then you hear, like... I'll play... It's even a slow song, but you can just hear, like, it's just the creative vibe in it. I don't know what it is. It's just...
Yeah.
There's something in this, whereas the other one's just like, oh, we're a punk band.
Yeah. This is definitely, like, creepy. Like, that's what... I think that was, like, the feelings that I had at that time were just like, this is just straight creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely thrive on that. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I wanted to say. Is like,
let's get down.
I would put Heroine as top. It's in the top 5 albums
Of
all I've ever heard in my whole entire life.
Yeah.
It would be in the top 5.
Yeah, definitely if it's got some sort of emotional attachment and stuff, like from when you were an angsty teen.
Yeah. There's
sure.
definitely, like, with my fucking ED problems that I had later in life, it probably stemmed from this because, like,
You're blaming Sonny.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely blaming my, like, abuse from my family. But, like, this problem... I reckon it maybe made me have the ED problem, but it also made it easier for me to talk about it, maybe?
Yeah.
If I wanted to go down that way. Because, like, he openly told... the world.
Yeah, for sure.
About it.
And that's probably why some weird stuff like comes out in lyrics and shit, because he's just being like, I don't know, just being expressive and just trying to get things out. And
yeah, and I reckon if he had left before this album, he wouldn't. I don't reckon he would have been able to do Skrillex. I reckon this was like a burr to get all his shit out, and then he was like,
maybe.
oh, I can create now. Like, I don't have... Because, like, he probably would have been like a little emo kid. This is pure speculation.
Yeah.
He would have been like a little emo kid and been like, oh, cool, I'm in an emo band. And then he would have been like, I'm dealing with shit. Blurted all that out, and like, because people still liked him just blurting stuff out, and it wasn't, you know, your like breakdowns and stuff like that and screaming, he was like, oh, I can create, as long as I'm creating from a place of like genuineness.
Yeah.
He was like, maybe people will like it, and he probably branched out. That's what I reckon, Ian. You can put money on it.
Yeah, like it's one of those things too, like what makes people go from like different genres is something that fascinates me sometimes. Like, yeah, it's probably out there on the internet somewhere that he's had an interview that someone's asked that, but it'd be good to know.
But I think that's the thing, is I don't think a lot of...
Well, because they really don't know. Like, they just go, oh, he's got like a history with being in bands and stuff, but nobody's...
I haven't, because I definitely am the person that likes watching interviews and stuff like that, and I don't think I've ever... People were like, oh... anything from first to last or something like that, but they don't actually like go into the nitty gritty. But I guess it's also personal, like how, like.
Oh well, that's a good little throwback then.
Yeah,
it's good to talk about.
So yeah, from first to last, just one of the greatest things to ever happen in my life, and it's like very telling of like, you know. I was first and now I'm last. I'm just the bottom barrel and I'm useless.
Good. Nah. Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Alright. So no other final thoughts on it or anything like that?
Nah, I just... everyone should just go out and buy it, and then hopefully Sonny Moore...
We'll be like, oh, damn.
We'll be like, oh, I'll do another from first to last song, because I really like that Make War song.
Surely, if that Genesis is meant to be like a full album, like surely they might
Maybe he will like
a feature
update
or
it
something.
yeah, like
a feature at least.
yeah.
Yeah, because I don't like. I've never heard of any like bad beef between them or anything like that. So it's always
and that's the thing, and that's why it's so like fucked with the like the amount of because again like bands normally like they've had like 4 guitarists over the 6 albums or something.
Yeah.
But like anybody can be rhythm guitar or something like that. Like obviously if it's lead guitar, the music will change a bit, but the vocals are always. Whereas from first to last, it's just changed so much.
Yeah.
And like each album's like way different. I'd say Dead Trees is the only one that kind of brought it back to Dear Diary.
Yeah.
It's just Heroine stood out as to being this like standalone. It could easily be its own band.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You want to join the party now too, Jaeger? Mutts. Oh well.
Alright.
Anything else you want to update with? We had a good week this week, didn't we?
Yeah. Yeah, besides you being sick.
Yeah, that was the shittiest part.
That would have been sucky.
We could have recorded a couple more maybe.
Yeah.
But that was good. I was definitely smashing them drugs of the legal drugs to get through those concerts. Man.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed the Throw-In one more than I enjoyed the Alpha Wolf one.
I think so too. Like I just the low key sort of show.
Yeah. And it was
Really
like
happy.
it was even the fact of it was easier to get a beer. As soon as I saw the line at the other one at Alpha Wolf, I was like, "Fuck, I'm not gonna." Because then I was like, everything's gonna crowd up, and I'm not gonna be able to like get back to you. And I was like, ugh.
Especially where we were, like, pretty close to the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was good. There was still good shows. Throwing sick. They're definitely not like. They're obviously hype, but they're not hype.
Yeah,
they're hype for a reason.
Good live. Yeah.
Really good live. They're not just like one of these bands that just pop up on your Spotify.
And I'm very
Shush dogs.
That's mercy.
Yeah.
I'm very happy I saw Invent Animate.
Yeah.
Like that's one off the bucket list that I never thought I'd see. Devils was good, but like they played more of their like rocky albums than their like classic metalcore.
Yeah. That was sort of not a disappointment, but I was like,
I expected it really.
But I'm more. That's what I know more of them. Like I dropped out. Like I dipped on that album. That was sort of more rocky.
Oh yeah. See, I liked it.
Yeah.
It was more the fact of they weren't like because their older albums are like classic MySpace era metalcore.
Yeah.
And like obviously they did well with that, but I like that they were like, oh, let's actually do something. We want, like how I was just talking about being creative. Like they were like, oh, let's do our own thing. And so I was like, yeah, that's like good on them. But it's definitely more on the rocky side.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I think why I didn't, like it's not that I didn't enjoy it, it was just that like I didn't like get into it as much. Just because I hadn't heard much of that stuff. The
only one you really need to hear, I reckon you'd like this. This is the only one you need to hear.
Yeah, it's got some nice riffage.
Yes.
That's good.
But that's the only one on the album that's like actually like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that they kind of just made it themselves instead of just being another generic metalcore album. But that's why I like Zombies 2 as well, is because they made this and everyone was like, bring the metalcore back, and they're like, you want us to see metalcore again? And then they'd release Zombies 2 and like and prove that they could still do it. They just wanted to do their own shit. And I was like, yeah, that's the best way to do it, I reckon.
Yeah, for sure.
Instead of just being like, no, we're not doing that anymore. Like they were just like, yeah, we can. Here's an EP.
Yeah. It's like Architects mode.
Yeah. Except I think they genuinely were gutted that everyone liked it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. Anyway, we'll see how we go.
Yeah.
What else? Probably just like and subscribe to us. That's the only thing I can ask.
Yeah.
And if you've got like a favorite album as well, like something that's a throwback album that you'd like
Yeah, because if we haven't heard it, it'll be cool to like listen to
for sure. Like,
albums that...
I'd like to know what other people were like get into back then.
Yeah.
Like, I know we were pretty into music, but I'm sure there was plenty of other shit that we missed back then.
Yeah. And like, you know, they might not be around anymore and stuff, and
Yeah, for sure.
then hearing the production back then and everything, how...
Oh, that's a big thing where I'm just like, oh man, how do I listen to that? Like, because there was a thing, like, I would just like, and I'm sort of just dragging on here, but it's like I used to download something, but the only way I could do it was like search the song and then filter by lowest megabytes or whatever. Like, so it's always like the drums sounded like just hell shit, just with the cymbals sounding like that mad.
Did you ever
distorted weird noise?
Do the rip from YouTube?
Yeah,
I did that a lot because there was like the old Seos and acoustic and stuff like that, and I couldn't find them anywhere else, and so you'd have that. It was like a website, and it would turn the YouTube thing into an audio file.
Still a thing.
Yeah, I could imagine, but surely not needed really anymore. But I used to do that all the time as well. In like, I'm gonna say 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
Nah, it might have been before that. Might have been, maybe 2011, 2012. I remember I got my first Sony MP3 player.
Oh, yeah.
It cost me like $500 back then, which would be like $1,000 probably now.
Yeah, probably.
But it was able to hold lossless, and it didn't matter the kilobytes, whatever, what is it?
Yeah, just like the bandwidth. Whatever.
Yeah. So like it was like able to like uncompressed, like it.
Yeah. So like the wave files.
And that was like I was like, oh, I can listen to the best sounding music ever. And now I'm back to Spotify that's like capped at like 320 or something.
Yeah. Still okay.
Yeah. Like, to have that back then would have been crazy, because I think we were like 94 or something like that. It was
listen to us.
Yeah.
That's like
pretending to
millennial boomers. Sweet. All right. Like I said, put it in the comments or something like that. Even if you don't, someone might not listen. Anyway, see you later. So.
Son of a